Picture this. Just a year ago, Burkina Faso's state-owned companies were the punchline of every joke about African inefficiency. Experts, analysts, even some locals had written them off as bloated, corrupt, and hopeless. But in 2024, something extraordinary happened. Under the bold leadership of Ibrahim Traore, these same companies generated over 3,000 billion CFA francs in revenue, an astonishing 61% jump from the previous year. 19 out of 21 state enterprises posted profits, with a total net result exceeding 120 billion CFA francs. For a country battered by years of instability, foreign meddling, and security threats, this isn't just a turnaround, it's a revolution. So what changed? How did Ibrahim Traore, a young army captain who seized power less than 3 years ago, transform a fragile state into a symbol of African self-reliance? Was it just luck? Or is there a method behind the magic? And most importantly, what does this mean for the rest of Africa, for the West, and for the global system that has long dictated the continent's fate? If you believe Africa must rise without debt, comment, freedom, no IMF. And if you believe in Traore's mission, comment, I stand with Traore. But that's only the beginning. To understand the magnitude of Ibrahim Traore's achievement, we have to look back. For decades, Burkina Faso was trapped in a cycle of dependency. The country's vast gold reserves and mineral wealth flowed outward, enriching foreign companies while leaving ordinary Burkinabe in poverty. Western-backed development projects came and went, but the fundamental equation never changed. Africa's resources, Western profits. The CFA franc, pegged to the euro, kept the economy in a colonial straitjacket. Loans from the IMF and World Bank brought more debt than dignity. And all the while, French troops, ostensibly fighting terrorism, maintained a grip on the country's sovereignty. Then in September 2020,
Uzia kwankwanku TV so ne ye sim na ne wa hu de di kan ga na chese mampanyin ye wo Burkina Faso Captain Ibrahim Traore enwumaku ahodo ne niema mpuntu a wode bakuru num abusua enya senketwa wo mu asabre wo mu benya adan adam firi wo ye kuro no dehia entutue pa wode agu akwamu a wo ye no abusua edutwem iso obo ni akoma no hu de tuemu subscribe share like na comment aha eye Kongwanku TV so abusua yenkobo ni akoma.
Picture this. Just a year ago, Burkina Faso's state-owned companies were the punchline of every joke about African inefficiency. Experts, analysts, even some locals had written them off as bloated, corrupt, and hopeless. But in 2024, something extraordinary happened. Under the bold leadership of Ibrahim Traore, these same companies generated over 3,000 billion CFA francs in revenue, an astonishing 61% jump from the previous year. 19 out of 21 state enterprises posted profits, with a total net result exceeding 120 billion CFA francs. For a country battered by years of instability, foreign meddling, and security threats, this isn't just a turnaround, it's a revolution. So what changed? How did Ibrahim Traore, a young army captain who seized power less than 3 years ago, transform a fragile state into a symbol of African self-reliance? Was it just luck? Or is there a method behind the magic? And most importantly, what does this mean for the rest of Africa, for the West, and for the global system that has long dictated the continent's fate? If you believe Africa must rise without debt, comment, freedom, no IMF. And if you believe in Traore's mission, comment, I stand with Traore. But that's only the beginning. To understand the magnitude of Ibrahim Traore's achievement, we have to look back. For decades, Burkina Faso was trapped in a cycle of dependency. The country's vast gold reserves and mineral wealth flowed outward, enriching foreign companies while leaving ordinary Burkinabe in poverty. Western-backed development projects came and went, but the fundamental equation never changed. Africa's resources, Western profits. The CFA franc, pegged to the euro, kept the economy in a colonial straitjacket. Loans from the IMF and World Bank brought more debt than dignity. And all the while, French troops, ostensibly fighting terrorism, maintained a grip on the country's sovereignty. Then in September 2022, everything changed. Ibrahim Traore, just 37 years old, led a coup that ousted the old regime. His first act, expel the French military and declare an end to neo-colonial interference. Many in the West scoffed. Pundits predicted disaster. But Traore wasn't interested in playing by old rules. He invoked the spirit of Thomas Sankara, the legendary anti-imperialist who renamed the country Burkina Faso, the land of the upright people, and called for total self-reliance. Traore's vision was clear. No more masters, only partners. He nationalized key gold mines, negotiated tough deals to repatriate national wealth, and built the country's first gold refinery. No longer would Burkina Faso export raw ore at rock-bottom prices. Now the nation would refine its own gold, sell it at market rates, and keep the profits at home. This radical shift sent ripples through the global mining industry. Western companies complained, but ordinary Burkinabe cheered. But it wasn't just about gold. Traore's government slashed the salaries of ministers and parliamentarians, while raising pay for civil servants and investing in public services. He launched an agricultural offensive, pouring resources into farming and food processing. Tomato and cotton plants sprang up where once there was only dust. In 2024 alone, nearly 6 million tons of cereal were harvested, a record for the country. All of this was happening against a backdrop of insecurity. Jihadist groups still threatened the north and east. The West predicted chaos. Instead, Traore doubled down on local defense, mobilizing civilian volunteers and forging new alliances with Mali and Niger under the Alliance of Sahel states. He turned away from France and the US, seeking new partners in Russia and Turkey. No more masters, only partners, he repeated, echoing the dreams of a continent tired of being. As the world looked away, expecting Burkina Faso to fail, the numbers told a different story. In 2024, state-owned enterprises shattered every record, over $5.5 billion in revenue, a 61% increase from the previous year. Net profits up nearly 25%. These companies contributed nearly 20% of the national budget, money that went straight into schools, hospitals, and infrastructure. The poverty rate, once among the world's highest, began to fall for the first time in years. What's the secret? It's not just about numbers, it's about mindset. Ibrahim Traore rejected the old logic of dependency. He refused IMF loans, calling them modern slavery. He insisted that Africa can, and must, rise on its own terms. Africa doesn't need the World Bank, IMF, Europe, or America, he declared. We have everything we need right here. If you believe Africa must rise without debt, comment, freedom, no IMF. And if you believe in Traore's mission, comment, I stand with Traore. But that's not the full story. The real turning point came when Traore's reforms began to bear fruit, not just in the balance sheets, but in the daily lives of ordinary people. For the first time, state enterprises like Burkinabet and Sonabi became engines of growth, not drains on the treasury. Burkinabet's revenues soared by 120 billion CFA francs in a single year. Sonabi contributed over $1 billion to the Patriotic Support Fund, helping the nation weather the security crisis. People noticed. Across Africa, young people saw in Ibrahim Traore a new kind of leader, unafraid, unapologetic, and fiercely committed to his people. Social media exploded with praise. Pan-Africanists hailed him as the heir to Sankara. Even critics grudgingly admitted that something remarkable was happening in Burkina Faso. But with every step forward, the stakes grew higher. The West responded with skepticism and, at times, outright hostility. Accusations flew. Traore was diverting gold, turning to Russia, threatening democracy. There were coup attempts, sanctions, and endless warnings of doom. Yet, Traore persisted. He lived modestly on his army salary, refusing to enrich himself at the public's expense. Why does this matter? Because for the first time in a generation, an African nation is charting its own course, not as a pawn in someone else's game, but as a player in its own right. Burkina Faso's billion-dollar boom is more than an economic story. It's a declaration of independence. It's a shot across the bow of neocolonialism. It's proof that with the right leadership, Africa's so-called weakest links can become its strongest pillars. If you believe in Traore's mission, comment, I stand with Traore. And if you believe Africa must rise without debt, comment, freedom, no IMF. Your voice matters. Let the world hear it. But what does the future hold? Can this new model survive the pressures of global finance, security threats, and geopolitical rivalry? Will other African nations follow Traore's lead, or will the old guard reassert control? These are the questions that keep diplomats and analysts awake at night. Yet one thing is certain: the genie is out of the bottle. The people of Burkina Faso have tasted self-reliance, and they are not going back. Traore's legacy, still in the making, is already inspiring movements across the Sahel and beyond. From Lagos to Atlanta, from Dakar to Paris, Africans and the diaspora are watching and learning. So what do you think? Is Ibrahim Traore a hero, a visionary, or just a lucky reformer? Is Burkina Faso's billion-dollar boom the start of a new era for Africa, or just a flash in the pan? Let us know in the comments. If you believe Africa must rise without debt, comment, "Freedom, no IMF." If you believe in Traore's mission, comment, "I stand with Traore." Your opinion shapes this conversation. As we close, remember this: empires rise and fall, but dignity endures. Ibrahim Traore's Burkina Faso is proving that Africa's future does not belong to those who wait for permission. It belongs to those who dare to act. The billion-dollar state empire rising in Burkina Faso is not just a story of numbers. It's a story of people, pride, and possibility. This is Izizi Africa, where truth is verified, voices are amplified, and Africa writes its own future. If you believe in an Africa rising on its own terms, if you support this movement for dignity, self-reliance, and transformation, then be part of the change, like this video. Share it far and wide, and let the world know that a new Africa is not only possible.
It isn't the sound of tanks or the roar of angry crowds that marks this revolution. It's the hum of engines passing through new toll stations, the flicker of automated sensors, and the calm efficiency of a modern system built not just to collect money, but to protect it. This is the story of how Burkina Faso is ending an era of leakage and inefficiency and entering one of transparency, security, and infrastructure that finally serves the people. On July 1, 2025, the Ministry of Infrastructure through the Burkina Faso Special Road Fund convened a press conference at the Batenga Modern Toll Station on National Route Number. The message was clear. The country was ushering in a new era of toll management backed by a strong legal framework and cutting-edge technology. The gathering wasn't just a formality. It was a declaration of intent, a moment of clarity where the state drew a line under decades of revenue loss, corruption, and outdated systems. According to Theodore Jean Menegre Ouedraogo, Director General of the FSRB, the need for reform was both urgent and non-negotiable. He spoke with authority not from theory but from years of watching the system bleed money through inefficiencies, loopholes, and manual operations. The new decree recently adopted by the Council of Ministers outlines how to collect should be managed across all paved roads within the national territory. Its purpose is threefold: reduce revenue losses, improve traffic flow, and secure the income generated. But beneath these technical terms lies a deeper goal: the building of a resilient, modern, and equitably distributed road network across the country. For a landlocked nation like Burkina Faso, road infrastructure isn't just about convenience. It's about survival, sovereignty, and opportunity. Good roads mean faster transport of agricultural produce to markets, better access to healthcare and education, and the integration of remote communities into the national fabric. It means dignity and development 1K at a time. To understand the significance of these reforms, one must look at how the systems have operated in the past. In many African nations, including Burkina Faso, toll collection has long been plagued by corruption, informal payments, and a lack of accountability. Drivers often complained of arbitrary fees, long queues, and untrained attendants. Meanwhile, government coffers received only a fraction of the expected revenue. It was a system that benefited a few at the expense of many. With the creation of the FSRB and the restructuring of toll management, the state is taking back control not to punish but to deliver. The Budinga toll station, a flagship of this new system, spans 12 hectares and boasts 13 lanes, 6 for incoming traffic, 6 for outgoing, and 1 reserved for exempt vehicles. The separation between heavy trucks and light vehicles is now clear, making the flow more organized and equitable. Two-wheeled vehicles are exempt, ensuring that the poorest travelers are not burdened. Jean Modeste Yanogo, technical director at the FSRB, took journalists on a guided tour of the station's innovations, offering a glimpse into a future where African infrastructure rivals that of more developed nations. At the core of this innovation is automation. The Botanga toll station features a fully integrated electronic tolling system. Cash payment is still possible for those without access to cards or badges, but digital payment is encouraged. Vehicles equipped with tags or badges can pass seamlessly, saving time and reducing human interaction, which in turn reduces the risk of fraud. The station also features axle sensors that automatically identify vehicle types based on the number of axles, calculating the correct toll without relying on human judgment. This system ensures fairness. Drivers pay what they owe, no more and no less. Security is paramount. High-definition cameras monitor every lane, every vehicle, every transaction. Inside the administrative building, a centralized control room oversees all activities in real time. Staff monitor screens, analyze data, and intervene when necessary. The station's software, known as DGMS, is more than just a payment tracker. It's an ecosystem. It validates and generates tickets, records transactions, produces daily reports, and interconnects with other toll stations across the country. This level of interconnectivity is new for Burkina Faso and signals a shift toward a more integrated and intelligent transport system, and the results are already tangible. In a demonstration during the press event, a heavy-duty truck with 3 axles passed through the toll station and was automatically categorized as such by the sensors. The toll was calculated instantly, 2,000 CFA francs. The driver paid, received a digital receipt, and moved on within seconds. No arguments, no delays, no guesswork. Multiply that by thousands of vehicles each day and it becomes clear how much money and time this new system is saving. The Enga station is just the beginning. In the coming days, 2 additional modern toll stations, Tintalou and Kodadougou, will also open their gates. Together, these 3 stations represent an investment of 18 billion CFA francs, fully financed by the FSRB. It is a significant sum, but one that promises to pay for itself many times over. When managed efficiently, toll systems can generate sustainable revenue for road maintenance, reducing dependency on external loans and aid. They also send a powerful message that Burkina Faso is ready to stand on its own feet and invest in its own future. To understand the political weight of this transformation, it's essential to see it within the broader context of President Ibrahim Traore, accountability and self-reliance. Infrastructure development is not just an economic goal, it is a political statement. By investing in smart systems that reduce theft, improve service delivery, and treat citizens with respect, the government is demonstrating that African institutions can be efficient, transparent, and citizen-focused. It is proof that the continent doesn't need to look outward for solutions. It already has the talent, the leadership, and the will to solve its problems from within. Midway through this transformation, let's take a moment to thank the dedicated viewers and subscribers of Voice of Africa. Your support, your shares, your comments. They help keep this narrative alive. In a media landscape often dominated by negativity and external perspectives, your presence ensures that stories of African progress, resilience, and innovation continue to be told from an African lens. If you believe in this mission, consider liking, sharing, and supporting our work. Every action counts. Now, returning to the toll project, it's crucial to recognize that its success will depend on long-term political will and citizen trust. The best systems can still fail if mismanaged or undermined by corruption. That's why transparency, regular audits, and public accountability must remain central. The DGMS software and surveillance systems are powerful tools, but their true strength lies in how they are used and overseen. Citizens must also be engaged, understanding the value of paying tolls and seeing visible improvements in the roads they use daily. Public awareness campaigns, community feedback, and local employment in toll stations can help bridge this gap and build a culture of shared responsibility. In the broader African context, Burkina Faso's toll reform offers a model that other countries may wish to study. While each nation faces its unique challenges, the principle remains the same. Smart governance begins with small, consistent steps. A toll station may seem minor in the grand scheme of national development, but when done right, it becomes a symbol, a gateway not only for cars, but for a new way of doing things. Efficient tolls mean better roads. Better roads mean better trade. Better trade means stronger economies, and stronger economies mean greater freedom to define one's own destiny. The question now is, will this momentum be sustained? Will the government continue to invest in technology, maintenance, and training? Will future administrations build upon these foundations or let them crumble as others have in the past? The hope, as expressed by leaders of the FSRB, is that this is just the beginning. That toll stations will soon be integrated into a national transport strategy that includes digital maps, predictive maintenance, and region-wide road planning, that local engineers and technicians will be trained to maintain and improve these systems, and most importantly, that citizens will come to trust the institutions that manage their contributions. Burkina Faso may not yet be known for smart highways or futuristic cities. But if the quiet hum of Unthink toll station is any indication, the country is on the move, not just in kilometers but in vision, courage, and commitment. And as the wheels keep turning and the tolls keep ticking, a new kind of road is being paved, not just